Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our laundry room today. We have David Costanzo and Justin Gandy helping facilitate our laundry room today on Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, UASA's newest benefit for our members. Guys, it's all yours.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for jumping on. We have a really exciting new benefit that we are offering here at the United Appliance Servicers Association. We are very excited on how this is going to help not only our business owners but our employees. And we're excited. We've got Justin Gandy on. Justin went through the course and is going to give us some feedback and some background on how it helped him and his family. And towards the end, we'll just open up discussion and kind of talk through, other people that may have benefited, or, discuss ways that we think this might help our employees or, ourselves to, lay a good foundation for our businesses.
Hey,
So,
David,
yeah,
one question. If people have questions during the middle of your
jump in.
discussion,
Yeah.
can they jump in?
Yeah, jump in for sure.
Perfect. Just want to make sure everyone knows.
Yeah, this is still a conversation. I'm just going to lay a little bit, so everyone knows what's included and things like that. But by all means, jump in and help out with questions, or if you want to add anything to the discussion. So to start off, I want to show you a little bit about what's included with the program if you're not familiar. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Oops, wrong one. Why is that showing? You guys see a washing machine, right?
Just a list.
No, we see what you'll get. Financial Peace and Ramsey Plus.
That's what I wanted. All right. All right. I have no idea. On my end, it's showing a different screen, but so what's included with the Financial Peace? We not only have the Financial Peace University, but we decided to purchase the upgraded license of the Ramsey Plus, they call it. So as you can see there, everything that's included with both packages. Again, you do get the full Ramsey Plus, some extra things like benefit. One of the biggest ones is they have a budgeting app that you or your employees can use throughout the year. Instead of just getting 3 months access, you get 12 months access to that. You also get extra digital libraries and digital videos and perks and discounts throughout the program. So that's kind of what's included. It's not just the standard, but it's the Ramsey Plus. The United UASA paid for all these licenses. They're a first come, first serve basis. We purchased 500 licenses. And that, like I said, is first come, first serve. And now I want to show you how to find it on our website and how to sign up. One big thing, can you guys see that website now? Did we switch over to the ASTI?
Yeah.
UASA.
Yeah,
Okay.
UASA's website.
Perfect. So one thing about this program, we're encouraging our members to become annual members. This program is only offered to annual members as opposed to a monthly membership. With an annual membership, you also save $50 off of your membership compared to a monthly membership. Guys, our annual membership is $199. That is less than every appliance association out there. We are not only the most affordable, but the leading appliance association out there with the most benefits that we offer, again, than any other association out there. So if you're not a member, join as an annual member. You'll get access to this benefit, but also all of our other benefits. So from our main dashboard here on our website, if you go up to benefits and you go to business tools, you'll see Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. You're going to click on that. You'll have the option to become a member, annual member, if you're not already. and here you're going to click get your free license. Once you're in to click your license and you're logged in with your annual membership, this is going to come up. You're going to fill out your basic information. And one of the biggest parts is you are going to add licenses if you'd like to. So your first license is included. You can give that to an employee. You can use it as the business owner. You can use that one license however you'd like. We've paid for it. Everything is included in that one, and it is the Ramsey Plus with everything included. The additional licenses are licenses that you can use for anyone that you want to give a license to, such as your employees, managers, anyone that works for you. I think one of the biggest things that I see in my company and in talking to other business owners is, a lot of our employees have a really tough time managing their personal finances, and that bleeds over into our companies. And as an owner, we have to deal with these, hey, can I get a loan for, to get me through to the next paycheck? Or, we have to deal with these questions on a daily basis. And they'll go to, well, I'm not paid enough, can I get a raise? And a lot of times it's our top paid employees that have these financial issues. So it's a little bit, eye-opening to see these, employees have these problems financially. And so much of it is just their own management of their personal finances. So this will help overall company culture, having employees happier, to be there, happier because they know where their paycheck is going. They're going to be more comfortable at home. Their family life is going to get better. Personal finances is one of the #1 causes of divorce in our country. And anytime an employee is going through something personal like that, we know how devastating that can be to them. So Bobby actually asked, can you purchase additional licenses at a later time? You can purchase them anytime. However, these are first come, first serve. So, there's companies out there with, 50, 100 employees. If they decide to purchase it for all of their employees, this is going to go pretty quickly. So we do recommend you sign up as soon as possible and get your employees signed up, as well as soon as possible, because these 500 licenses, are going to go very quick. Doug, you got a question?
Well, just a comment, that Smart Dollar app from Dave Ramsey, that whole education program and app, I just recently checked it out before you were able to secure this for us. And based on our company size, if I divide it into the 25 to 29 group, it's about $130 to $160 a month. A year for us to give Smart Dollar to our employees. So you're suggesting that the Smart Dollar app
employee, right?
per employee. So you're saying that the Smart app with each license is coming in at $50. That's a really great deal for a financial tool for an employee or yourself. So that's really great price.
That's all the budgeting, everything you can do.
That's just one component of the big university, just one thing. So that's great.
Correct. Go ahead, Manny.
So David, so if I sign up now, I've got it all filled out, can I go back in and sign up employees after the fact? But there's only 500 available at $50 is what you're saying?
Yeah, the first one is included. The additional licenses, Sarah, do we have a process for that?
They'll have to go in and register each one.
Okay.
Yep.
So just go through the same process and add the additional licenses.
Can I go back? Can I go back and do that after I sign up?
No reason they can't, right, Sarah?
Sorry, I muted. Nope, no reason.
Okay.
And if you have any problems, feel free to call or email us, and we can help walk you through it or, do it with you.
Yep. All we need from business owners that are signing up employees or any license that you're getting, whether it's the free one or additional ones, we just need a name and an email address. We are going to, once we have that name and email address, we are going to send them a link to sign up. And again, this is the full program. So if they want to sign up and use their class, they want to go in person. There's a class finder right on the program to where you can go in, put your zip code, and find a local class that you can join. If you want to do it completely online because you're, more of a work from home type of person, you can do it completely online. It tracks everything. You'll see how much money that you've saved, how much debt you've paid off. All of that will be on your dashboard. And in addition, it's completely anonymous, but in addition, we will be able to see as an association how much debt has been paid off throughout the association and how much that we've helped our employees, our industry in general, to become healthier financially. So kind of some cool stuff that we'll definitely share with the whole group on progress on how we're doing. With that, I'm gonna kind of pass it off to Justin. And again, feel free to jump in. This will be, Justin's had an amazing experience with Financial Peace University. If any of you have, we'd love to hear from you as well, or any questions along the way. We're here for you. So Justin, floor is yours. Justin, you with us? I don't even see him. Is he here?
You want me to do an impression of a Justin?
All right. Looks like Justin is off. Has anyone on the call actually taken the Dave Ramsey course?
Is it Justin Merwin you're looking for?
No, Justin Gandy. Looks like he
Oh.
fell off the call.
Okay, yeah, he was on the call, but he disappeared. Okay.
David,
Yeah, Dave.
David, could you just go down the list of the different benefits besides the budget app again?
Sure. I mean, and just so you know, the package that we have is $139 usually. So if you were to go sign up your employee or sign up yourself, if you would just go to sign up yourself or your employee, it would cost $139. And you're getting this, for $50, or your first one obviously for free. What that includes is, again, you can join any class, virtual or in person. Access to all 9 video lessons, which are the virtual ones, the Every Dollar budgeting app, free one-on-one financial coaching session, a free digital workbook. That's basically what you use to go through the class. It's completely digital. You can fill in the blanks, write notes, all that stuff, right on your computer. You can also order one. I want to say they're $19.99, $20 if you want to order a physical copy. Yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, I think a huge, and we touched on it earlier, but one of the biggest things is motivating your employee. It's an incredible way to show your employees that you care. Can everyone hear me? I just got a message that my internet's unstable. Everyone can still hear.
Fine.
What'd you say?
I can hear you fine, but now you're dropping in and out.
All right, great. Well, that's just of the program. I can give you a little testimony, from a third party. I have not taken the course yet. I'm going to take this program. My brother took the course. My brother is a huge Dave Ramsey fan, and to the point where when he paid off all of his debt, he actually went to Dave Ramsey's studio and spoke on Dave Ramsey's radio show. Just from an outside perspective, my brother's life completely changed. He was in debt, student loans. He had a restaurant that he had purchased using a small business loan. He was deep into debt, I want to say it was over $100,000 in debt. Big proponent of Dave Ramsey is, I want to say his saying is live, what is it? Live like,
Live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else.
there you go. Thanks, Bobby. So yeah, my brother buckled down, lived frugally, to the point where, people in our family made fun of my brother, for, cutting up his credit cards and doing what he was doing. And looking at it now, he has 3 different businesses, completely debt free, and is making money residually from some of his businesses to where he doesn't have to show up to work anymore. That's about 10 years after his Dave Ramsey course, but he went from, people in our family making fun of how frugal he was being to everybody in the family looking at him and saying, wow, we should have been where you are. I think that was one of the coolest things.
Just to emphasize a point you made earlier, David, in the middle of some sentences, having employees that are struggling personally with their finances, it does come to work, doesn't it? Right. And if we wanted to, as owners and leaders, look at their W-2 and go, how is this possible? And it's almost like we might get defensive and wash our hands and go, that's not my problem. But it really is, because a stressed out employee, someone who's got a lot of heavy burden on their mind, they're not going to be your best employee for you. And then just on the other spectrum of that, can you imagine having an employee, David, work for you for 25 years and they don't have retirement or anything to show for it? After that long of a tenure with you guys, we become family, and we really want to set them up for success. And it's kind of neat about your brother. 10 years ago, he did it. I mean, that's 10 years compounding is a pretty amazing impact on your finances, your financial freedom, and your retirement. So it's never too late to start. You just got to get it going, right? And we don't want to meddle too much in our employees' businesses, but we want to guide them. And this is a way for them to take responsibility for it, you presenting it to them and offering it to them. And who knows? I mean, if they're open to meeting once in a while to talk about it and celebrate the successes, just building bonds. So pretty cool program, David.
So out of the people here that have employees, I'm just curious, how many have an employee that has consistent money issues? Do you have a raise your hand button at the bottom?
How do you do that?
So Kelly put it in the chat that she does. It's under reactions.
Oh, there it is.
You see reactions, you can hit raise hand. So Amy, Lana, I mean, looks like everyone's jumping on Mark. So we all have this issue, and we need a solution that will, give the control back to the employees of their finances. A lot of this has to do with, people thinking they're not in control of their money, not in control of their finances. And I think one of the big things about, any financial coaching is you are in control and these employees are in control. So, it's pretty cool to see that flip in person when they realize that they are in control of their future. Kate Bloom says that there's a gentleman named Caleb Hammer, similar idea, but not religious like Ramsey. One thing that I'll say, and of course, Ramsey can be a little bit controversial, because of his reliance on his leaning on his religious background. I would say that that's not a requirement for this course. You don't have to be religious. You can be another religion. You can still get all the benefits out of this course. And I don't think religion is pushed on anyone, in the course from what I've seen, the documentation and the videos that I've seen on the course. And look who we got. We got Justin here. Justin, before you jump in, Amy had a little bit of a testimonial. I see that you're you left something in the chat, but do you want to discuss it, Amy? Amy, if you're there, I just asked you to unmute I don't know if that works. But she put in the chat, just in case she might not have audio. Yes, my husband and I have taken the course. It was tremendous to help us. We then purchased it as a gift for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, agreed to meet with them weekly to go through the online course with them. Was a big help to them. Also, learning how to tell your money where to go is a huge blessing. Finances are a tough subject to discuss, but it's hard to see employees struggle to manage their personal finances. So home run, Amy. Thanks for throwing that testimonial out there. Justin, glad to have you back.
Yeah, sorry about that. My Wi-Fi dropped out. I got guys outside widening my road, and they hit my internet cable. So
oh,
I had to switch the device I was using. So
we're happy to have you. Do you want to jump in and say how it's impacted you and your family?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that don't know me, my name's Justin Gandy. I actually own Appliance 911 here in Kansas City. Been doing this off and on for 22 years. And part of the reason I'm bringing this up, so I did this for about 13 years. And then I got into investment banking. Well, when I got my first investment banking job and I actually graduated through that program, part of that career path is you have to be financially secure. So they made me go through fixing my credit, paying off debt, and that's when I was introduced to the Dave Ramsey course. So me and my wife decided to fully embrace it, and we started out with over $200,000 in debt. I never had used credit very much in the past because as an appliance repair tech, I didn't really need it. It was a cash flow positive business, and had substantial debt after a divorce. And we started on it, and you kind of go into it realizing, okay, they did the envelope thing where it's every week you put a budget for every category of your life in an envelope. And it really brings you down to like, I'm being treated like I don't know, elementary school kid. But it really brings you down to that point to make you really self-aware of what you're spending and where it's going. And I had no clue. I had no clue that I was spending, close to $1,000 a month between quick trips and out to lunches and stuff like that. I had no clue because I just wasn't paying attention. And so we started through that program. And the cool thing about the Financial Peace University is that they're very small steps that as you progress through 6 months into it, you realize, holy cow, I've just paid off $50,000 in debt. And fast forward, I leave investment banking and we're starting our business. Now, I had 2 previous businesses doing appliance repair, and that was before I went through the Dave Ramsey course. The Dave Ramsey course changed the course of my family's life. And I'm not overstating that because when we started building our business, a lot of those things that I learned through the Dave Ramsey course became even amplified when you're trying to build a business. Because if you're leveraged by debt and you're paying all these, payments every month that everybody you owe money to, opportunities are going to rise where you don't have the cash flow to take advantage of those opportunities in business. Where if you're leveraged by so much debt, you may have for instance, we have a very large property manager that has become a huge staple of our business, but the hook is it's a 90-day turn time on payment. And by the way, we got to front all the HVAC equipment. Well, if I hadn't taken that approach 6 years ago, going through the Dave Ramsey course where we weren't going to have debt, even when we were building the business. And that's hard to do. Not everybody has the means to build a business and stay debt free. So, there's times where we did run up credit cards, but we would pay them off as soon as possible. Right. And it wasn't one of those things where it's like, you know what, I can do this later because whatever. And it never compounds and snowballs because you're always staying out in front of it because of what you learned through that course. 6 years later, we have zero debt in the business. We have 12 company trucks that are completely paid off, but one. The only debt that I have personally is on a vehicle that I just purchased this year for my wife. And, when that opportunity arose with that big vendor, I was able to take advantage of it where some of the competition that I was bidding against for that contract couldn't do it because they couldn't float the money. And we're talking about 20,000-30,000 a month in materials. And I look back to that moment, that's a big pivotal time because they make up for 30% of my business overall. And that essentially is 4 or 5 people that I wouldn't have been able to employ. So, we're actually to the point now where we've enrolled our employees in the Smart Dollar program. And we saw a huge swing in morale and culture. They started sharing when they accomplished goals on our group me chat, where it's become kind of a rah-rah thing. And, I had an employee approach me a couple weeks ago, and he said, I really need a raise. I'm just not getting much momentum, saving money, da-da-da. Well, I showed him his end of year compensation. I said, you made $130,000. You're not married. You don't have a mortgage. I said, do you really believe it's that you need to make more money, or is it really you need help learning how to manage your money? And I went through and told him my experience, and now he's going through it and realizing, God, man, I was throwing so much money away that I didn't even realize. It's one of those things, like, if you don't know where your money's going and you're not a very organized person, which I wasn't, it really changes your perspective and can change the course of your life. I fully believe it. So.
That's pretty cool, Justin. Changed your life and has the opportunity to do the same thing for everyone on this call, everyone in the association, and not just us, but our employees. Feel free to buy this for your family members, anyone else that you want to gift this to. It's yours. That license is yours to use, and if you want to add people to that, you can as well. And we're excited on what this is going to do for our association and our members. John, I think you jumped off mute. Did you have something to add, John? John Riggs? Maybe not. All right. So anyone else have any experiences with employees that might be having a tough time right now financially? Anyone want to share why they're going to purchase the program for their employees or for themselves? Anyone out there that might be, might know that they're going to use that license or purchase additional ones for their employees? Would love to hear just like a use case on, why you're going to be doing it for yourself or your employees. Come on, guys. This is a discussion, trying to pull it out of you.
Come on, guys. I can tell you in my company, more of it was happening than wasn't. There's more employees that work for us that were struggling with finances. And let's be honest, inflation was hitting the moon and everything's going up. So I'm surprised there's not a ton of feedback on this topic in particular, because it seems like.
Well, and it seems like our audience here, maybe hasn't taken the course yet. When we asked for testimonials earlier, when, before you were jumped on again, Justin, it seemed like not many people on the call have actually been through the course. So that makes personal finance is kind of a tough thing to talk about. So completely understand, where people might be a little hesitant to share their current, personal financial situation. But we're definitely excited, towards the end, kind of get some.
David, I think it's more than just signing them up, though. I think we all need to be aware of that. This speaks to our culture. I think if we're going to utilize this and give these to our employees, that means that we're telling them that we care about them. And just like an incentive-based program for your technicians, if you think that just the incentive of making money is enough, it's never enough. Some succeed and some don't. And if you're getting somebody who's working a long shift, long days for you, and they're struggling at home with finances, where do you find the energy and the hope to better yourself? It's really challenging. So I'm going to just tell you that it really needs to couple. And that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on the Smart Dollar app. Also, the opportunity here is interesting. So I'm just saying it means that you need to create a process and a revisiting sort of schedule of hanging out with your people and asking them how it's going. It's like signing people up for appliantology. Hey, take this course. It's going to make you better. How many people have shared that the success rate isn't great unless you're with them along the way? And so it might, hopefully Ramsey will help us, or maybe there's some more information we can pass along, David, to our membership on how to be there supporting them without meddling or getting involved. That could be something else that we can do as an association to help, because it needs to be implemented. It needs to be implemented well.
Great idea. And Bobby just jumped in, said he'd love to share his experience. Bobby, you want to jump right in?
Sure. Thanks, David. Yeah. So I had listened to Dave Ramsey for a number of years, and was a pretty ardent fan. I used to listen to his podcasts, or actually it was his radio show back in the day. But probably about 8-10 years ago, had a situation where we needed to realize we needed to get our finances in order. So we went through FPU through our church. And yes, it is biblically based. There are some things that a lot of people will think are very drastic as far as some of the actions that Dave advocates that you take. I will say that as we went through the course, there were some things that we didn't go all in on. We still use credit cards. Dave advocates against that. We do pay them off on a monthly basis. But there are some things that you can take and apply that will, as Justin mentioned, will change your life, and it will change your finances such that it puts you in a better position later on. And that's really what I wanted to share. So fast forward about 5 or 6 years after we had completed Financial Peace, we had positioned ourselves by paying off a lot of debt and generating some savings, that whenever I got laid off from my job, I was able to take the time, work on attaining my PMP, and then search for a job. I didn't find a job. I was out of work for a year. And during that time, we didn't have to go into any further debt. We were able to just live off of the savings that we had worked on accumulating over that time frame. And even though I got very little unemployment assistance through the state, I mean, laughably little, really, if you want to talk about it, you can't rely on that because that's unemployment. The financial unemployment just really isn't there in most instances, especially if you're going to be out of work for an extended period of time. But we were able to survive that. Me being out of work as the primary breadwinner in our home for a year, and came through it without any battle scars. So I can't say enough about FPU. There are some other courses out there, other financial advisors that have different mindsets. But if you check into Dave Ramsey, you realize that there's a good foundation for making sure that you are well prepared going forward in what you need to do in order to be successful from a financial perspective. So I highly encourage everybody to look into it, to participate, and especially if you have employees that are struggling financially, to get them involved. And if you even need to walk through them, as Doug was talking about, walk through this with them to help them understand that, this is the route that they need to go. People have a tendency um, to live outside of their means, and that's one of the things that Dave really talks about and advocates, is making sure that you're living within your means. And looking at that holistically, across the home that you have, the cars that you drive, the expenses that you incur on a monthly basis. So just my 2 cents.
That's well said, sir.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Hey, James, I just saw you jumped on and your mic is on. Do you have any employees that struggle with their personal finances or?
Yeah, well, in fact, my comment was going to be, whether you guys know it or not, they're all struggling financially. The education system in this country does not educate anybody on money management. Not really. It's on a cursory level. So everybody's really behind the 8 ball. And any one of you got to talk to your accountants, talk to your CPAs. Every client they have, whether they're making 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, or 50,000, none of them can pay their bills. So it's like no matter what, somebody's trailing behind, no matter what their income level. Justin was talking about the guy making 130 and he still couldn't pay his bills because there's this tendency to live beyond your means. And so the education that this provides is something that they know. But the focus shouldn't be, I don't know, that on finances. It's the financial peace of mind that this can give you. And it will calm you down when you have a plan and you start getting control of it, because it's the unknown. And finance, just the word finance, is like math. People's eyes roll over in their head. They can't, the idea of math. Oh my God, here we go. And finance is just a fancy word for math for most people. That's the way they're going to react. But the reality is that they all need education in terms of finance, without question, and managing their money, even in terms of IRAs and the rest of it. Now, the thing is a fine line when you become a financial advisor to them, because then you're taking on legal obligations. So don't hit that tripwire. But there's so many things that people do not understand, but just about retirement or having a Roth, for example, just a simple Roth. My God, you should put together a whole class of it. Now, not just Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is biblical based. That doesn't mean it's bad. It means that you might have some staff members that object to it or get their feathers ruffled about it. And he does get very extreme. And I used to listen to him years ago too, where some of his points are very extreme. But when we're talking about the basics, I mean, Dave, I think he still uses the expression, rice and beans, beans and rice. When you've got debt to pay, you should not be going to a restaurant. You stay home, you have peanut butter and jelly, you have bologna sandwiches. You don't do anything until those debts are paid off, especially the big ones. And his concept about the debt snowball is a very basic concept that everybody could pretty much, I think, get behind. But they don't understand that. That's fine. But you could explain to your staff the concept of the debt snowball and not get into the biblical background and create that issue. But he does get very extreme. He's talking about the lack of use of credit cards and all of it. There's things that you have to leverage, like Justin was talking about. For example, I always, regarding finance, now Ramsey would say, don't have credit lines, don't have any of that accessible to you. It is a lure. That's true. But in my situation, I had bankers that knew me and they're like, you need a line of credit because you don't know when you're going to need it. And of course, as we all know, you get your loans and you get your line of credit when you don't need the money. But if you need it, you're never going to get it. right? So the time to get those lines of credit are there. But anyway, in my situation, I had one that was very persistent, and she was right in the end. But she kept saying, "Let's get you a $250,000 line of credit. Let's get it 500,000." I'm like, "That's too much money. What do I need that for?" Well, it'll happen. It'll show up eventually. Well, of course it did. And what happened was I wound up with a project that you put a bid out for, and this happened to be a project for a school district. And I don't know how many of you work with school districts, but it takes them a good 6 months to pay their bill. You're going to get paid. You don't have to worry about that. But there's so many people that have to sign off on it. And before they can cut the check, it even goes to the school board, and then they authorize the payment. So you're going to carry the note for school districts for a long time. You might as well just know that comes with it's the nature of the beast. It's the animal, right? Same thing with police departments and fire departments. It all has to go through the village board before they're ever paid. But anyway, having said that, in my case, they had about $150,000 worth of equipment that they wanted to purchase, right? Now, this is my cost. And in the commercial world, they don't ship. They don't even label the shipping label unless you pay it COD. So you're paying upfront for all that equipment that's going out the door. They won't ship it unless you pay it in advance. And here it's costing me $150. But you can imagine the margin on this, right? Huge. This is something you can't walk away from. And so we made a lot of money on that transaction, and it probably was a 50% margin when you include the labor and the setup and all that, right? So we're talking about a lot of money. Had I not had that line of credit, I would have never been able to take that job. It would have been just completely removed from my ability. So when you hear advice about not having credit lines and not having credit, that would be a bad move. And to my ear, Ramsey's completely against that. But a lot of other things he says make a whole lot of sense. And it's something absolutely everybody on this call should hear. Absolutely. And then you can take things from it that you think would apply and things that might not apply. My concern for this program was what your cost is to the company as a program. As I recall, they give you so many consulting hours for your people to work with. And frankly, my observation on that is that the consulting hours that they grant to you for your staff to use are inadequate. They're not. You can always buy more. You can always buy more hours of consulting, but they don't really give you enough for them to work with, particularly when you understand where your staff is starting from and going to. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense. They're talking people that are going from ground zero, having to be ramped up. Never even heard of Dave Ramsey. Haven't heard a single program or anything he's ever said. And then you're going to give them 2 hours of consulting. They're not going to absorb that in 2 hours, and they're certainly not going to do it organically. So that would be my concern for it. But it is absolutely sound advice with obviously changes in different applications. Does it fit your model, or does it not fit your model? So there's going to be things that you can take from it that are fantastic. And a lot of people will probably be shocked and go, "Man, I never thought of it that way." Wow, really cool. Especially the debt snowball. That is such a basic concept and so easy. And what it is, just I'll if you want me to, I'll just state it quickly. Cut me off anytime you want, Dan. You guys, you all know I can talk forever, right? You got to take the mic from me, right? Where's Sarah?
Go ahead, James.
He's going to mute me any minute.
I will say, James
Anyway,
is right. James is right about the hours with consulting. I will say this from my experience with the Smart Dollar program with my employees. A lot of these guys have no concept of financial understanding, and the app itself gets them rolling and provides a lot of support just by setting up the program to where I've had multiple employees actually sign up for the Financial Peace University after they got going with the Smart Dollar program because they had such good traction. So I do think what he says is accurate. But I will say I think it does lead the people that are really set on making some changes once they get started with that program to then seek the actual full Financial Peace University on their own.
Exactly. It's like they don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And like a lot of things we do at ASTI, we're talking to peers that just have never heard it before. These are not that these are ignorant people. They're very bright, very smart people. They've just never been exposed to the concepts before to be able to wrestle with it. And also put in a very plain language. And that's another thing I like about Ramsey is that he does break it down in basic terms. He's not going too high in the vocabulary where you can't follow along. In my opinion, like even he's talking about the debt snowball, which is just started talking about. His concept is that you take your debt, smallest to largest, and you go after the smallest one first. You go after the little one, pay it off. Now, with that money that you would be giving to the small one, you now have to go to the next larger one. So now you've got those combined totals. So you go to the next largest one, and then now you don't have the little one anymore because you paid it off. Now you have two lumps of money that you can knock out that second one. Then that snowball gets bigger, right? So now you can attack the third one and then up the line. He would even suggest that you almost don't pay attention to the interest rate. That's not the issue that he focuses so much on. That's where I will divert from him. I will go, wait a minute. Okay. If you got credit cards that are 34% and you've got a credit card that's at 8% now, and like debt consolidation, he doesn't like that. Well, I don't know. People got credit card debt that's 34, 29%, 32% on the card, and you can get a consolidation loan that might take it down to 8 or 9. I don't think that's a bad idea. Where I believe, if I heard correctly, and I could be correct, let me know if I'm wrong, that he advocates against that. Now, I would agree that you don't want to risk your home in that. Okay, that's the problem. If you lack the discipline, you're going to be right back where you started, and now you've endangered your home. So I think that's really where he's coming from a biblical perspective, saying, "Hey, look, don't endanger the household. You have an obligation here, and that core concept you can get away from, because he really comes from a perspective that you don't want to do anything that would dishonor God, if that makes sense. I don't know, there might be non-religious people and different religions here, but I think everybody can understand what that means. So he will come from that core in a biblical perspective. I think he built an entire career, an entire network going from church to church to church. So he had pretty friendly offices. Pretty friendly situations where it would hit a perfect note and people were open to it and accepting to it. Because it made sense, because it makes sense within that context. It really does. So anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest impact that it made on me outside of just what it was doing for me financially was the fact that, my mom's 60 years old. She's going to work the rest of her life. If it wasn't for me helping in to step in, because she was never taught about finances. You made a great point. It's not taught in our education system to the level it should be. The thing that got me is realizing, you know what, I can start this with my son and my daughter to where they understand this very early on in life, and I can change my entire family lineage of how they approach money, wealth, whatever it may be, to where it's not just helping my life, it's making sure that my kids understand they don't want to get into debt. And this is how you should approach things from a very early age, to where, my son's 18 years old and has a 740 credit score because my wife and I added him on as users on our accounts. So he got all that payment history, right? But we also, have made them aware of what happens if you don't pay this. We're gonna be there for you when you fall. But I'm not gonna clean up your messes, right? And if you let this get out of control, this is what can happen. The impact that, as a man and provider for my family, wanting to protect my family, the power that I got from going through that program, that's what really has made an impact, to realize now I can teach this to my kids where my kids don't have to go through it. I can teach them through me. So that's what I'd say.
Very cool.
Exactly. And the overarching point is that, once again, everybody is lacking in financial knowledge. Our education system let us down terribly, in a very critical way. We can argue if that's on purpose or not. That's a whole other issue. But the point is that you can grant peace of mind to your people, to your staff and to your family, that they don't think there's a solution, and there are answers, and but don't look for a pat on the back or recognition for that. Do it because you're doing the right thing. You're doing it for the right reasons to make their lives better, whether they know it or not. Just like a client, if you're acting in an ethical way, you're doing the right thing for them. Whether they know it or not doesn't matter, because you're the one who has to answer yourself. So that's where you got to come from, because and beyond this, we have an obligation to educate our people, because it's about peace of mind. It's not just about the Christmas party or the barbecue. It's about the peace of mind that you can provide them in all aspects of their lives. I heard it said early 90s, that, believe it or not, if you think about it, you always hear that expression that why somebody's acting out at work or not, they're having troubles at home, right? Everybody's having troubles at home. Well, anyway, the real issue is that if you think about it, our employees, we control 75% of their waking life. They're at work, going to work, going from work, talking about work. It consumes their life. Then they're going to have about 25% family life. Maybe 5% of that'll be social. And if it's any more than that, they're probably going to get a divorce. But we are responsible for that. So we can make them happy, fulfilled, educated, that they feel that they're working for a good company and nice, stable people. Or we can send them to the next bar to cuss us all the way to where, right? So we have that responsibility. And it's not only that we have that power over them. We're not looking for that power over them, but we have it. And we have to recognize that responsibility, that we control that much of their lives. And I can tell you that 75% of your life is going to overshadow 25%, not the other way around.
Good point.
100%. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this does for our membership. I'm excited to see how this helps our companies grow. And I'm excited to see how this helps the health of our company and the overall cultures. Without any other information or anything else anyone wants to jump in with, Sarah, do you have anything else for us?
I don't. I think it was a great conversation. I was waiting for anyone else to raise their hand or speak up, but I don't think. Nobody?
Yeah, so
Just raise your hand.
The link is in the sorry, James. The link is in the chat there. If you look in the chat and you want to sign up, you and your employees, feel free to do that. Bobby did put the 7 baby steps, which I think are pretty cool, kind of the base of what the Financial Peace University is around. Put that in the chat. So check out the chat. If you guys have any questions moving forward, feel free to reach out to Sarah or Maggie or myself. I'm happy to jump in and help anyone wherever they might need with the program. I'm going to be taking it personally. So I'm excited to see what it does for me and my business as well.
Awesome. And we will have another webinar to actually go through what you will see on the dashboard once you do register on August 7th. So we'll also have this available for replay if anyone came in late or those that left early aren't here anymore. So we'll have that available. And then if you guys have any questions or anything, like David said, reach out to myself or Maggie. And if not, we'll see you on the next laundry room.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, David and Justin.
Thank you.